Coach drew the number 2 seed for the Southeast Regional Tournament, third straight bid to the NCAA tournament, and we get to face off against an opponent that we haven't seen since 2006. UNC Pembroke. Just tell us what you expect to see from UNC Pembroke.
Well, I think they're a terrific team, had a great year. You look at their record, 22-9. That's a tremendous year. And then you look at it closer and you think they got off to pretty much a rough start. One of their better players, Shemel Brackett, missed 5 or 6 games during the year. They were, around 11-8 or something like that, around 500, and then all of a sudden I think they've won 11 out of their last 13. Put together like a 7 or 8 game win streak, and I think playing probably as well as anybody in the region. So once you get past, our philosophy of the NCAA tournament's always been, unless you're a 1 seed or an 8 seed, it really, seeding's kind of irrelevant. It's all about matchups and what are good matchups. And with Pembroke, I think they're a team that certainly is playing well enough and has enough confidence to think they can roll through and win all 3 games. They just beat Aiken a week and a half ago, and we're going to have our hands full. But we're excited for it. There's no the way they do it, Division II with 8 teams only. There's no way to kind of play your way into the tournament. You come in and you've got a high quality opponent from the opening bell, and we're going to have certainly our hands full here with what promises to be a really good Pembroke team.
And looking at the NCAA stat rankings, it's kind of a strength versus strength matchup here. You've got a high-octane offense in Pembroke. They rank 19th overall in the country, scoring 81.2 points a game, while Lincoln Memorial, we sit at 11th in the country, 14th in the country in field goal percentage defense. So just talk about what that matchup of the stingy defense versus high-octane offense means for the game for for us going into that game.
Well, I think you look at them; they're really a well-balanced offensive team. They play similar to us in terms of inside out, but they play fast. I mean, they're trying to score points in transition. We've been a team that prides itself on on being a strong defensive team and a strong rebounding team. You look at their team, averaging over 81 points a game, and probably most impressive is I think they're maybe 3rd or 4th in the country in rebound margin. I think they're like plus 11 on the backboards. It's an incredible stat, and they're an unbelievable offensive rebounding team. Maybe as good as anybody in the country when you look at that. And so what that does for them is they play fast. They get a lot of points in transition. They've got a great big guy in George Blakeney, a 3-time All-League guard in Shemel Brackett, the freshman of the year in Quamaine Rose, the point. And then when they miss, they get nearly 40% of their misses back. So you're dealing with a team that does an unbelievable job of creating easy baskets in terms of getting transition baskets, and then obviously usually offensive rebounds lead to easy baskets. And so they do that's what makes them, I think, such a high octane offensive team, is tremendous balance between the perimeter and the post, able to score quickly in transition, and then they get easy baskets because when they miss, they get their rebound back, and usually it's close to the rim and they're able to go and put the ball in the basket.
And you had you talked about the strength of this team is that they're big, tough matchups all over the court, and we're prepared for that because of the strength of the South Atlantic Conference this season. So just talk about what the South Atlantic Conference schedule means for the preparedness of the team going into the NCAA tournament.
Well, I think in our league, I think one of the cool things, not so cool when you're going through it, but it's cool in retrospect, is one, you see everything. We face teams, we see 1-3-1 zone, 3-2 zone, 2-3 zone, matchup zone, pressure man, press with Newberry, dribble drive teams that run action, teams that are, inside out like we are, Wingate is, Lenore Ryan is. You see everything. And you play against unbelievable players. It's an 18 game, next year will be 22, but this year an 18 game grueling schedule. There's nothing we'll see in the NCAA tournament that we haven't seen. I think, that's why when you look at our league the last few years, there's been unbelievable success in the postseason. 2 years ago, Anderson going through as a 7 seed and winning the region and getting to the Elite 8. You look at last year, we got 3 teams in the tournament, us, Wingate, and Anderson. All 3 of us advanced past the first round, and Anderson and Wingate had to play each other. And then obviously we were a play away from an all-SAC regional championship matchup. And having played Wingate 3 times, I told our guys, if we're fortunate enough to make it to Tuesday, I think there's a great chance you'll see Wingate standing across the court, and that's no knock on Aiken or anybody else in that bracket, but that's how much I think of Wingate and how well they're playing and what a great team that is. So when you go through our league, you get to the postseason. You are unbelievably battle tested and really ready for anything that's going to be thrown at you. So we have tremendous respect for UNC Pembroke, but obviously, and we think they're terrific, but we also think we're pretty good, and we've produced and performed in big moments. So I look forward to what should be a tremendous game.
And just one of the weirder stats when you look at the Southeast region, all the draws, is Conference Carolina puts 3 teams in, Peach Belt puts 3 teams in, South Atlantic Conference puts 2 teams in, but those 2 teams are the only 2 teams that are nationally ranked in the polls. We're in 13th. Wingate moved into 25th in this week's poll. So that just speaks higher volumes about the strength of the conference, I think.
Well, it does, and I think, in our league, you really legitimately probably have 4 teams that, I think were NCAA tournament caliber teams. And I think us and Wingate, and certainly I would put Anderson and Carson Newman in that boat as well. The issue in our league is at the top of it, it is so difficult. And you look at Carson Newman, and they're 20-8, but lost to us 3 times, lost to Wingate, lost to Anderson, once each. So that's 5 of their 8 losses. Came in those games, and same thing for Anderson, and same thing for Wingate, and we just kind of beat each other up there at the top, and disappointed that only 2 teams got in, but I think the South Atlantic Conference, the strength of the league, has never been better, and I think it'll continue to improve when you look at going forward. 5 of the 6 guys in the first team All-League are back next year. 8 of the 12 on the All-League teams are back next year, and the recruits continue to come in, and everything continues to move forward, and I think there's no question that this has become one of the premier leagues in the country at this level from top to bottom.
And, of course, Lincoln Memorial, for the second time in 3 seasons, captured the South Atlantic Conference regular season crown. Came up short in the championship game. But the ultimate goals of this program, since you've been here, you've said it all along, have been to win region titles, go to Elite Eights, and compete for a national championship. So what is it going to take for the Railsplitters to be in action on Tuesday and to have a chance to win that game and to go to the Elite Eight in Louisville?
Well, I think, we set 3 goals every year, win the regular season title, win the tournament title, win the national title. We were able to win the regular season title, which, we emphasize a lot, and that was tremendous for our guys. The tournament title, Wingate, played unbelievably well and certainly punched in the mouth there in the second half and deserved to win the championship. As you get to this stage, the margin for error, and it is really all year, but the margin for error is so slim. When you look back at the previous 2 years, we lose to Anderson in the first round in a very close game 2 years ago. Last year, we're up on Montevallo, 14 points, 8 minutes to play. We're up 1 with 15 seconds to play, and a guy throws in a running hook with 3 seconds left that banks in to beat us. Montevallo goes to the national championship game. We go home. The thing you have to continue to do, you got to play unbelievably well, obviously, to give yourself a chance. The second part of that is you got to have some luck. And things got to kind of break your way because the teams are usually so evenly matched. And the best way to do that is to keep putting yourself back in that position. We did it 2 years ago, we did it last year, we did it this year. If you continue to put yourself in that situation, eventually you're going to have the things go your way. If that shot misses by Antoine Davis last year from Montevallo and hits the back rim instead of the backboard and doesn't go in, and we go to the regional championship, maybe we do what Montevallo did and go to the national championship game. Maybe we lose to Anderson in the Sweet 16. But the hardest thing to do is to continue to put yourself back in this same position year after year after year because it's obviously hard to get to the NCAA tournament. So that's really what we got to do. We got to play our best basketball. We got to play loose and relaxed. We've had a great year, but we always know and our guys know you can't have a special year unless you perform in the postseason. And these guys have done everything. I think our senior class has won 98 games or something like that. They've been a part of 3 South Atlantic Conference championships, broken every conference record from weeks ranked to being ranked number 1 in the country to being ranked number 1 in the region and all the stuff. The only thing this team hasn't done is make a deep run in the postseason. and that's really the last barrier to cross. And we've got a team that has the experience, and I think has all the things necessary to do that. But you got to play great, and you got to have a little bit of luck, because as good as we think we are, Pembroke's equally as good. Montevallo, Barton, Aiken, Wingate, Limestone. I mean, Belmont Abbey. All those teams have had. There's nobody in the region tournament that's won less than 22 games. So I mean, all 8 teams have 22 or more wins. I mean, it's an absolute. It'll be, I think, an unbelievably entertaining tournament, because you're looking at it, and there's no team that's dominant. There's no team that's just head and shoulders above anybody else. I think all 8 teams are going in thinking that if they get hot at the right time, catch lightning in a bottle, that it could be them cutting the nets down on Tuesday. And you know what? All 8 teams are right.
Okay, the Railsplitters and Braves tip off at 2:30 on Saturday, March 16th in Aiken, South Carolina. Coach, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you in Aiken.
Sounds great, Scott. Thanks.